Everybody keeps asking who replaces Shikamaru's Hokage when Kobu finally kicks in the office door and drags him out kicking and screaming, but that's the wrong question the fandom needs to be asking. The real question is, who survives the first 5 minutes after Shikamaru is gone? Because Kobu doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who watches one episode of Law & Order and he calls it detective work. This man treats loose ends the same way Madara treated the allied shinobi forces, as something that doesn't exist tomorrow morning, and reminds you whatever god you're praying to will not matter, even if you catch the Holy Spirit of Hagoromo. And if that's true, Sai unknowingly painted a giant target on his back due to his actions in the latest Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, talks to you about why Sai may have just gotten himself utterly cooked in the last Boruto manga chapter without ever realizing it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the chapter review, which is up on the channel, linked in the description box and in the pinned comments for those that haven't seen it just yet. Also, no AI scorecard on this since I feel the point has been proven for those that have asked questions due to all the faceless channels using AI slop. Also, with the manga on break for August, very important, I've got a bevy of Patreon exclusive videos that have been on the platform for months now, ready to publish on YouTube alongside your regular Boruto manga discussion. So expect videos like the Obito and Kaguya video essays that are sure to change how you view their roles in Naruto's manga. Also, if you're into Bleach, don't forget to check out my new Every Bankai in Bleach video, breaking down all 27 Bankai in the series and in the light novels, which I strongly recommend. 1 hour of Bleach awesomeness linked in the description box and end credits with timestamps as well over on that Anime Explained channel. For the longest time, Sai looked like someone that Kobu trusted. He clearly had passed the initial investigation. Kobu wouldn't have allowed him in the room for interrogation if he hadn't. Kobu viewed Sai as trustworthy. He hadn't been working with Boruto according to what Kobu found, and at the time that was true. Then Sai learned that his son was working with Shikamaru, and by extension, Boruto. Then Sai's son became an ignorant participant in the attempted murder of Lord Kobu, the aide to the feudal lord. At that moment, the very thing that we talked about on the channel several months ago finally came to pass. Sai's loyalty to the village and his role as a pillar were being weighed on a scale against his duty to his family. For a guy raised in the Foundation, the shadow of the Anbu Black Ops, he didn't know what real love and family were until he became one of the many lost souls saved by Naruto Uzumaki. Now, that love is in danger when Kobu eventually circles back around towards questioning Sai, now that he's begun questioning him during Kobu's moment where he accused Shikamaru of treason. Kobu never said he was stopping at Shikamaru. In fact, he said the opposite. He correctly came to the conclusion that there are shinobi who have fallen under the category of being pulled into the Boruto vortex. The logic was simple. If the Hokage, the head of the village, had been working with a traitor, then there were those underneath them who were just as guilty. This was not a one-man thing. After all, what good is cutting out a cancer in one spot after it's already spread to other places of the body? The treatment doesn't stop with just the surgery to remove the tumor. There's more you have to do. Shikamaru is the cancer, Kobu is the surgeon, and Sai is the part of the body of Konoha that the cancer has spread to. Now the treatment is coming in this figurative example. While Kobu doesn't know it now, the connective tissue is there for him to follow. Shikamaru is Hokage. He has every shinobi in the village to bend to his will. Yet, working with a traitor, regardless of the reason, is not something that you can just lightly order somebody to do. Even more so in the climate that Konoha is in after Naruto's death. In Chapter 1 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Shikamaru explained where Konoha stands regarding Boruto. Even as Shikamaru rescinded the kill on sight order for Boruto, the people of the village want Boruto dead. Civilians whose lives were saved by Naruto throughout the years. Shinobi who watched the knucklehead who had to sound out words finally become Hokage against all odds. Losing Naruto was more than losing a Hokage. It was losing hope, inspiration, and security. Hope that one could overcome impossible odds, no matter how much of a long shot they were. Inspiration that hard work can prepare you for opportunity when it arises. Security in that even after he lost Kurama, the belief of many was that the Hokage would find a way to protect him. He'd always done it. He'd earned the opportunity to do so now. When you have situations like that to factor in, even as a Hokage, Kobu would know Shikamaru could only go to those who he trusted with a situation like this. Perhaps a wife who is a brilliant strategist herself. Perhaps Choji, the loyal friend with a few pounds of extra weight that are hiding the muscle built underneath it. Perhaps his other teammate Ino, the woman in charge of the sensory unit. When Kobu starts looking at who Shikamaru would go to, he's going to look at each of those options. He's going to go and look for the logs of the mind transmission jutsu as well, since they're all recorded. Just as Sai had the sensory unit look into Konohamaru's transmissions because he clearly got one and Sai wanted to know what was said, and then he found out this was off the books. He's going to want to question Ino as well. If you're Sai, you know that your son has been complicit in helping Boruto and unwittingly used to try to assassinate Kobu. It doesn't matter that Inojin didn't know what was going to happen. That's no different than somebody being in the car and stopping in front of a bank, and the people that you drove to the bank ended up robbing the bank and almost killed somebody. You're going to be charged as an accessory. When you look at Sai's situation, his wife won't know what just happened. Even as she begins to suspect it, we have to go back to chapter 14. She told Shikamaru that she could not help any longer when it came to matters of Boruto, and the way she was drawn looking at her son, it strongly implies that her reasoning went back to her son. Because if she's caught, she dishonors her clan, and if she dishonors her clan, then her son has to carry the burden of being viewed as the child of a traitor, and not just any traitor, a traitor who helped a Hokage killer. Does that change with her son now officially in danger? Her answers may lead to Kobu getting everything that he needs to know, even if Ino doesn't verbally say everything. Conversations aren't always verbal. Communication can happen non-verbally too. He's already seen Sai question why the Hokage would help Boruto. Put yourself in Kobu's shoes and ignore the context that you have as a reader. So ignore the dramatic irony. Everything that was laid out made logical sense for the most part, even though there were some gaps that you couldn't fully piece in together. Why would Sai go from being a unbiased third party to suddenly trying to poke holes in your logic when his very duty is to read between the lines, gather intel, with a lot less circumstantial evidence than Kobu presented? Your answer is simple: you wouldn't. Not unless you were hiding something. Not unless you had someone to protect. Kobu has shown that he is very observant and very intelligent. Don't put that past him. Putting husband and wife in the same room, potentially husband, wife, and child in the same room, and watching them closely will tell you quite a bit, even if they don't realize that their body is giving off signals. For Kobu, the question of how he ended up on the roof with no memory of ever going up there is going to lead to him asking the elders, this is a ninja village, ninja do trickery, what jutsu is capable of that? For people that were children during the early years of Konoha's founding, because the elders are 91 in part 2 of Boruto, they'll have a long list to go through, but only a few shinobi inside the village meet that criteria, assuming of course they don't have dementia, which it doesn't seem like they do, but that list will include the name of Sai's wife. At that point, you start questioning once again if Sai is hiding something, because now you have a reason to suspect that he might. Even if it's just a 1% chance, you still have to look into it. Advancement in life, as well as regression in life, often comes down to the smallest of details that one overlooks. Those who get by furthest often have the smallest areas covered. Kobu comes across as someone who looks for all those small details. One minute he's accusing the Hokage, the next he's on the rooftop and he's about to die. Then suddenly Boruto, the traitor, saves him, and Shikamaru and Sai both just happen to be on the rooftop to serve as witness. That stinks badly enough that Kobu needs a gas mask. He knows ninja trickery was involved. Someone manipulated the situation, interfered, and moved him against his will. When he began suggesting it by subtly implying that there was deception, notice Sai got defensive. Don't think that that went unnoticed by Kobu, because based on everything we've seen from Kobu, he likely picked up on it. Naruto characters are taught to see past deception, but that rule was taught to shinobi, yet Kobu is proving and teaching a lesson that we can take away for real life. Don't pay attention to the words of people. Yes, words matter. Words matter a lot. Actions matter more. Study what someone does and compare it to what they say, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. As my mentor once said to me, show me what you spend money on, and I will show you what you value. Show me who you spend time with, and I will tell you who you value. Kobu is like my mentor. He doesn't speak unless he's spoken to. He doesn't ask questions unless he already has an answer and is looking for evidence to back up his belief or debunk his belief. More importantly, he studies people even when they don't know it. Nobody can fault Sai for protecting his child. It's a great way to further build on where his character was when we first met him, and when you look back at it, you see how much Sai has changed in the time since then. This only further elevates the stock of Sai's character. It makes him a very well-written character. It's why once Ino said that she will not help Shikamaru, I said don't be shocked if Ino's family is dragged into this, because it makes for optimal writing. A good writer knows how to take internal conflict and external conflict and then play them off of each other. Even for subplots, a good writer does this. This is a subplot, a political subplot, a subplot that people don't like the politics of it, but it is elevating the story. Yet, it is a subplot that intertwines with everything going on for Boruto, because we are told it is very important Shikamaru stay in as Hokage. Internally, Sai has his loyalty to his family. Externally, he has his duty to the village. The easiest way to raise the stakes more would be to have Kobu assign Sai to look over the possible traitors on a list and gauge his reaction when the names of his family are shown on them. The deadliest characters in Naruto, they just don't read chakra or movements. The deadliest characters read something that doesn't require a fancy eye to do it. The deadliest characters read emotions and the people who display them. Those who are true masters of words and understanding of the human mind, they are dangerous. Itachi understood it, as did Pain and Madara. Hence, both have some of the best speeches in the series. You could do literal thesis built around their speeches. People reveal themselves before they even realize that they've spoken. There's a reason the expression, the eyes are the window of the soul, it is cliche, but it is used so much throughout the history of mankind. It's true. Look closely enough and the eyes will betray a person, even if it's a fleeting moment. Again, why the expression blink and you'll miss it is another cliche expression that never goes away. Sai's eyes are the tell, and Kobu is determined not to blink. After Shikamaru is inevitably removed as Hokage, Sai likely would get interrogated again. Shikamaru could be asked why Kobu suddenly got up to leave, but Kobu wouldn't believe him. He's a suspect. Sai, on the other hand, was there in the room. Sai is somebody that should have credibility. If he's asked what jutsu could do something like this, the moment he says he can't think of anything, anyone that is listening to that conversation that knows anything about the Yamanaka clan is going to pause. They're going to know that Sai just lied, because the Yamanaka clan's jutsu is well known to people in Konoha. Sai knows that his son was involved. That's his weakness. When you have young ones that you're responsible for, your actions and perspective, it changes. It's the primal instinct to protect your cub from a predator. Kobu is a predator. Inojin is a child. Sai doesn't have to lie poorly. He could say it with a smile on his face like he did in the Naruto manga, but if there's one glimpse of hesitation in his eyes, Kobu will see it. If Kobu sees it, he will act on it. He already believes there is a coordinated conspiracy. He knows the head of the group, but now he needs to figure out all the players. Normally, when you do a Rico investigation, you follow the lower members. You work your way up to the lieutenants. Then you get to the distro. Then you get to the connect that is supplying the organization. Kobu is working it backwards. He knows the the distributor. He knows that Boruto is the connect, or he believes that Boruto is the connect. The person that is supplying the figurative poison that's working its way through Konoha. Now he just needs to find the lieutenants that are running the crews that are selling it. Sai might have put himself in that position to be put under further scrutiny now. Tiny observations that could betray him will now be looked at by Kobu. A strange reaction, an unaccounted timeline, changing the subject, small things that you'd think nothing of on their own, but when added together, they paint a bigger picture. Someone like Kobu doesn't jump to conclusions, he earns them. He makes them more dangerous because once he earns one, good luck convincing him that he is wrong. That's why the feudal lord had him sent. He's a mechanic. You have a problem, he fixes it. The problem is Konoha is clearly compromised. That is why the feudal lord sent him. Kobu pulled up with his wrench and now he's got grease on his hands. The only questions left are, will that grease come from Sai or will it come from Inojin or Ino first? Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left for that Boruto chapter review, or clicking on the right to watch that Bleach video breaking down all the Bankai in the Bleach manga and in the light novels. That is an hour long, but it is totally worth watching.